All right, how are y'all doing this afternoon? I am hopping on here, looking to do yet another Instagram live interview, and I cannot wait for that to happen. I am excited because I am going to be joined by David, who's also known as the Naked Pastor. And so I'm excited to talk to him and get some wisdom from this gentleman. So I'm thankful that you guys are going to be joining us here on this wonderful Saturday. That being the case, let me introduce myself. My name is Brad. I am a life coach. I help with deconstructing from faith, all faiths, as well as relationships with the family, as well as finding your new identity, if you will, through the challenges of life change. I also help with time management, and so you can go to my website by clicking my in my bio and find that out and see all the different services I help with. And so I would love for you to do that. I also have a free anxiety worksheet that all you have to do is go to my site and you can get it for free. So if you deal with anxiety or depression or anything like that, it's a helpful tool. Hey, hope you're doing well, my friend. It's good to see you too. Looking forward to talking to you a little bit later as well. So that being said, David will be on here shortly, and we will get after it. Things that are going on in my life, I gotta admit I'm a little bit down today because I had to put my best friend, my dog, down, and so obviously a little broken up today. So if I seem a little scatterbrained, that's probably why. Just a little bit off here and there. And so had her for 10 years. She was my English Mastiff, my 187-pound baby. And so this face you see has the last 2 days been crying a lot. So it just happened this morning, though, so it's still kind of fresh. So hi, Goddess. Good to see you. And so, just kind of hanging in there, waiting for the healing to take place, because the only thing that helps it is time. When it comes to that. So when we lose something or someone or a pet we love. That being the case, wanted to also call your attention to something saying coming up. We have what's called Deconstructing the Holidays. You'll see it on my page. It is a 2-day live conference of helping people deconstruct or deal with changes in the holidays. So we will, so you can go to that link and check that out, and I would appreciate it. Thank you guys, so Tetris. I really do appreciate that. It's been crushing. My poor kids have been crying all morning as well, so it's been tough. So, but when you love a pet, it's never easy, right? So that being the case, I see that David has logged in. As soon as he joins in, we'll welcome him in as well. And so, as you know, David is very well known. His art, his cartoons, everything. I got to be honest, I have it on the top of my list when it comes to purchases. I let my family know, and so I'm excited very much about Christmas time because of his art. Hey, David.
Hey there.
How
Hi,
you
Brad.
doing?
Sorry about Iona. That's terrible.
Yeah, she was my baby,
Yeah,
and
that's rough.
yeah, I tell you, yeah, that one hits hard.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I
I've lost several dogs over the many years, so I know what it feels like. So my heart's with you, man. That's
thank you, I appreciate it, I really do.
yeah.
Outside of that, how are you this morning?
I'm
Yeah,
great since it's afternoon now.
yeah,
No, I'm doing well. Thanks.
I
Yeah,
am. I am so excited to get to talk to you.
thank you. Yeah, me too.
Uh, you have been incredibly instrumental in uh, my healing after leaving the church,
Oh wow, wow,
and
man. Thank
I
you.
I appreciate that. As a former pastor, it was you feel like you're out there kind of alone. Uh,
Absolutely,
you lose
because
everybody.
you are.
Yeah, Yeah, it's exactly right. It goes about, hey, community was the tough one, right?
Yeah.
And leaving community, and or them leaving us, depending upon how well
Right.
you look at it, was the most challenging thing for me. So being able
Yeah.
to, you know, find meaning and humor in your cartoons, and your words, and what you say, has been significant for me. So I appreciate it.
That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you for making time to talk to me as well. I know you're probably a busy person, so
I am, but I love taking time out to chat with people because basically I live the life of a hermit at home, doing my writing and my art, my cartoons and everything. So, and with COVID on top of that, so to be able to hang out with people online is great. I enjoy
yeah,
it. Yeah,
I totally, I mean, yeah, I'm starting to live a little bit more of that life as well. So when it
yeah,
comes, and you said something that I was watching the other day. I went back and looked at you answering questions,
right.
and you talked about, you found community. And I can definitely identify with the fact that I have found community on Instagram
Yeah,
or Facebook. My
yeah.
community, when it comes to that. But before I jump too much ahead, I know that I've got some people that follow me that are on here that may not know you very well.
Okay,
Mind just kind of introducing yourself to them so they can get to
sure.
know you?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. So my real name is David Hayward, but many of you might not know that, but you might know Naked Pastor. So that's me. I'm the Naked Pastor, the one behind all those terrible cartoons. And I I grew up in a Christian home and ended up getting born again and again and again and again in the Baptist church. And then went Pentecostal, went to a Pentecostal Bible college, met my wife Lisa, went to seminary, got my Bible, theology, New Testament degrees, went to go and finish my PhD, but we got pregnant during that, couldn't afford it anymore. I ended up in the ministry, got ordained Presbyterian, ended up going to the Vineyard Church, and then ended up leaving the ministry in 2010 and doing Naked Pastor full time ever since then. So that's my story in a nutshell. So I've had about 30 years in ministry, but my whole life in the church basically.
Yeah.
And I know what church is like. I've served in the church. I've been a pastor in the church. I've been a member, and as well as other ministries, independent um, profit ministries as well. And so I know what it's like, and that's what I cartoon about, basically. Yeah.
See, that is awesome because, um, okay,
Hey, Luke.
I'm a little amazed because I love this, because much like you, your story is very similar to mine, in the sense that I grew up in the church, got saved multiple times over and over again out of fear, accepted a call into ministry, went to a Christian school, got my biblical studies there, went to seminary, got my Christian education there, master's in that, and then pastor for 20 plus years, right?
Right.
And so another selfish reason why I wanted to talk to you, really, so it comes down to it, is because I feel like know, um, what I would be going through,
Yeah.
as well. Uh, so,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And, as I've said before, there are many of us that have been, if you want to call it deconstructing or just spiritually growing, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
inner growth, whatever, have seen, um, I guess you could say your cartoons are right there in front of your face. I mean, they don't. I
Yeah.
mean, they tell the story, and your story is a lot like love, uh, and loving people, and you know,
Not everybody agrees, but I'll accept that. I
yeah,
received that.
that's the way I get it. Coming out of the organized church and seeing your love for all humanity, or even Jesus's love for all humanity, if you will. Uh,
Right.
right. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what it is. So let me, if it's okay for me to ask, what was it that made you eventually walk out organized religion.
Can I ask you a question first? How long have you been out of the ministry?
I've been out of it for 3 years.
Oh man, yeah, you're still, yeah,
Yeah.
you're still in the repercussions of all that for sure. Um,
Still get it.
what I always gravitated towards churches where I felt more and more free to grow in the way I wanted to grow in, and I felt that I wasn't being judged and that I had plenty of space to grow. But in 2009 or so, it started to become clear to me that I was growing in a direction or in a way that that I'm just looking at the comments. So there's some friends of mine on here as well, and I'm really grateful for them. The one with all the calisthenics and symbols and all that. Just love them all. And it just got to a point where I knew we were getting to a place where they weren't understanding me anymore. And even some people were like wondering if I have don't believe in God anymore, if I lost my calling, if the anointing had been lifted for ministry, if God had taken his hand off my life and all that kind of stuff. So I knew it was just a matter of time. And I wanted to pick a time to leave when it was best for me and best for that church. I didn't want to keep going, run me into the ground and run the church into the ground. So there was a meeting at the church one night where influential people in the church and I were meeting and talking, and it just became clear this is not working anymore. I can't do this anymore. And I felt them trying to pull me back to a more recognizable Orthodox position. And I left the meeting and texted Lisa, my wife. I said, I'm done. And she was at work and she texted me back, me too. And that was it. Within weeks, we were gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It happened very quickly.
Yeah. It's interesting because mine took a little while to happen, but really what catapulted it more was my daughter in church, in her Sunday school or her small group morning class, came out as lesbian. And I was the family life, right? And so I was going to do this. I didn't even know, right? And so I had all these people walking up to me, right? And they're like, hey, Greg said this, and we want to know we're going to work through it. And that's really kind of hit. I was struggling with the view of homosexuality and Jesus for it and what it would be. And I really struggled. Like, my daughter's not broken.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Why do you need to fix my daughter?
Yeah.
And so naturally, because, suddenly I'm there, it's a 25 member church. And so everybody's got to be in your business. And I went home and I looked at my daughter and I said, listen, I go, honey, you don't have to go back if you never want to go back. I'm not going to do that to you. Then they called me in and it's like, hey, what do you believe? And that was basically the beginning of the end.
Yeah. How old was your daughter at the time?
She was 12 at the time.
Okay.
Right? I know.
Well,
right?
high five to your daughter, man.
Oh, right?
It's funny. It's funny how we can just churn things over in our mind in anguish, and then something happens that's totally out of our control.
Yeah.
That takes care of it, And so anyway, that was a gift. That was a gift that she did that. Really, it probably saved you years more of suffering.
Yeah, because I was struggling as it was, but church looked and said, "Hey, listen, you got to get this under control." It's like, well, if you're going to go against my daughter or test my loyalties, the church is going to lose every time.
Yeah,
it's going to be my daughter; it's going to win, And so, I had obviously instructing before then, or spiritually or growing, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is it. This is not what I'm a part of. I don't believe it's what Jesus would want to be a part of.
Right. It's also true that what brought me to a place of total affirmation and acceptance and all that was just people I met, friends, family, loved ones, acquaintances, people I met who would share their stories, and was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done trying to reconcile my the way I've been taught scripture with what I'm actually feeling. I'm feeling love and compassion and empathy for these people, and so I knew that total acceptance, total inclusion, total affirmation was the only way. It took me a while longer to figure out how to put scripture in its place in relation to that. But so it's with your daughter. I mean, it it was kind of your own personal trauma that brought you to insight, right? So I
Right.
think that's great.
Yeah.
Good for her, man. That's incredible.
Yeah, she's incredibly brave and her own person. I don't have to worry about peer pressure for her. So
Great.
I
Yeah.
remember coming to me even right before that, and this is she said, Dad, I don't like the Bible. Okay, what do you don't like? She goes, I can't believe in a God that would kill so many people in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I mean, it's difficult to argue, with the
Yeah.
mass genocide kind of idea that she looked
Yeah.
at.
Right.
And like, okay, and kept taking it one step further. So, but
Yeah.
you know, she will fight for the every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So, I know you have a book that you've written. Correct? Is it um, the relationship?
Okay. Till
Like,
doubt do us part.
what's
Till
that?
doubt, till
Yeah.
doubt do us part.
Um, could you tell like the audience a little bit more about that book and
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I have 9 books out now already. So I've got quite a few books. Uh,
so
but my
yeah,
latest one though is Till Doubt Do Us Part, and that one is about like when Lisa and we'd gone through deconstruction together, questioning our beliefs, changing our spiritual like our spiritual makeup was changing, and when we were together in the church as a pastoral kind of a couple,
right.
um, that that really was one of the things that really kept us tight together as a couple. And then when the deconstruction sort of was in full speed, and then I left the ministry, and she went to university to get her nursing degree, and all this kind of stuff happened at once. Our kids left home, empty nest. We had to file for bankruptcy because we were so friggin' poor from the ministry. We lost all our friends. I lost my income. It was just the perfect storm for absolute chaos in our relationship. And so for the next 2 and 3 years, it was touch and go. We were really had a hard time. Um, we went for therapy. I went for coaching and counseling on my own because I was traumatized myself.
Sure.
And eventually we had to come to a place where we decided, okay, let's figure out how to be married again. Uh, and so we really had to renegotiate our relationship, and we did. So our marriage now is better than ever.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really scary, really hard. We almost didn't make it. And I help a lot of other couples through deconstruction. A lot of them don't make it.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to write a book about it. And it's really so the way I wrote it was I wrote a whole bunch of Instagram posts and drew cartoons all on that theme. And then when I was done, what I had to say, I completed it all and put it all together into a book. Um, and it's called Till Doubt Do Us Part: When Changing Beliefs Change Your Marriage. Somebody says, I'd love you to do a live with your wife too. If you could get my wife online, you're a miracle worker. So, yeah, so we had to sit down and figure out what was the glue that was holding us together. Was it the church? Was it ministry? Was it our beliefs?
Hmm.
No, it was love and our awesome, profound wonder in each other and the respect and all that kind of thing. That's what the love was based on.
Right.
And so we went back to that and started to rebuild our relationship again. So yeah, we made it. And
You
I
know,
want to help other people make
which
it as well.
which is a rarity nowadays.
It is
Um,
it is rare.
Now, obviously, when people are talking going through deconstruction, a lot of times it's the understanding that, oh, it just church and with my relationship with God, it's everything. You know, uh,
Yeah.
I,
They say just normally 50% of marriages end up in divorce, roughly. I would love to know what the stats would be on deconstructed
oh wow,
Christians
yeah,
who I wonder what the stats are. I bet the divorce rate's higher.
oh yeah.
So yeah,
I would be
it
surprised if it wasn't higher. I mean, I would
yeah
think because of literally you're pulled and everything in your life comes down,
yeah
literally deconstructing everything. Because you and I both know being in the ministry or being in church,
yeah
church aids every aspect of your life. It's what you do in every aspect of your life.
yeah
And so obviously you have to deconstruct or go through that.
yeah.
So it wouldn't be easy.
No,
Um,
it's hard. And you're right. It the church demands everything, and so that's the way our marriage worked. Was we were totally 100% involved in the church, serving the church, being with church people, thinking church, playing church, going to church.
hmm,
Oh, yeah, it was
yeah,
all church. It was total. It was totalitarian in its influence in our lives. And so when we left the church, it was complete. Like we went from all to nothing, and that was very jolting. And it took us some time, longer than 3 years, to figure out how to get our stability again.
yeah. I mean, because just like I said, I mean, you had to build a whole new. I mean, everything. Literally, you're starting from scratch, and just like I said, I mean, walking away from a paycheck, walking away from what you've been trained your entire life, to say
Right.
like, hey, now what do I do? Uh,
I know. It's like even like this is a silly example, but like you sit down to supper and you're like, do you pick up your fork first, or do I pick up my fork first? Like, do we say something, or do we just go ahead and eat? Like, you
yeah, there's that pause,
know what I mean?
you know, there's that pause, like, okay, now what?
We just eat now. So it's like, yeah, just little things like that.
Yeah,
It just goes to show how all pervasive it is. You can't walk past the Bible without feeling guilty for not picking it up today. And you've got a playlist shuffling in the background, and you accidentally hear a Hillsong song, and your
oh,
heart
yeah,
your heart falls out of your mouth, and
yep,
and so it's like little things like that. It took us a long time to get over it. So now for us, it's been 11 years, and I'm starting to feel pretty normal again.
11
I
years.
never actually I never felt normal, so I'm starting to feel normal for
Yeah,
once.
yeah, exactly. That's a great. Uh, yeah, I tell you, when I left, I had to get a job somewhere, and all I had was, religious experience, right? So, what do
Yeah,
you, I went and got a job at a cigar shop. you know, I,
great.
I went and became a concierge where I thought that no Christian people would find, in a sense, not the people that
Yeah,
are right. So, and I found some
yeah,
great people. There were some great people, right? And
yeah, yeah,
start to rebuild, and
yeah,
I just and I didn't feel like there were patients because you and I both know that you are a minister on call 24/7.
yeah.
That it never turns off.
Right.
It's one of the things I did love was the fact that I go home and turn it off.
Yeah.
You know, uh,
you know, yeah, I've always said ministry isn't a job; it's your life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true. You're never off. You always have to be on. You always have to be on your game and always available, always ready. For me
Yeah.
now, I'm kind of doing a lot of stuff online. I'm very busy online, and I have to watch the same thing now that I need to turn off the internet um, at times just to have time to myself with my wife or whatever. So, but it's not the same kind of judgmental uh, stuff going on at the same time. You know what I mean? With church, if you're not available, then you're judged. Something's terribly wrong. Whereas when I'm not online, people are like, "Oh, he's not online," you know. So it's a lot. It has a lot of a different feel to it. Hey, Richard, friend in South Africa.
Nice.
Hola. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. People from everywhere.
I know, right? I'm seeing all these people flying. I'm like, I don't even know half these people. I'm waving at them, but I don't know who they are. But welcome. I'm glad everybody's here.
Yeah.
Days with Emily though. So hi, how you doing, Emily? So, you know, I wanted to ask you. You said you've written 8. Okay. Have you
Yeah.
been a writer in cartoons of sorts throughout your life?
I've always done art. I can't remember ever not drawing. My father was an artist, and so in his spare time, he was actually a policeman. That was his career, but um, he was also an artist. So I remember just drawing all the time and painting all the time. Um, and but I always wanted to be a writer because I love to read and I love good books. I prefer nonfiction, but and I thought I would really like to write a book on spirituality and stuff one day. And I realized I've been running a blog for years and years and been drawing cartoons for years. I have over 4,000 cartoons, thousands of paintings.
Hmm.
I got thousands and thousands of words already written. So I just went back and put stuff together. So now that's, you know how writers, they'll try to write a page every day.
Yeah.
So I try to write every day, but I put it on Instagram or my nakedpastor.com or wherever. And sometimes I'll stick to a theme so that I can put it together for a book. So my Sophia book, that's one I did in the same way, The
Oh,
Liberation of Sophia. Questions Are the Answer was one I really did sit down and write. It's not a bunch of blog posts. I have another one called Without a Vision, My People Prosper. That's about um, how visionary thinking can destroy community in a church,
yeah.
and so on. So and I really do enjoy writing. My next book coming out though is just cartoons. It's going to be the best of Naked Pastor cartoons ever.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Love the cartoons. It's got the Jesus flipping table shirt. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was telling everybody beforehand, and I think I mentioned it to you another time, but there are quite a few of your paintings and cartoons. They're on my Christmas wish list for my family to get.
awesome. Yeah, awesome. That's great.
They really hit home. You know, I really feel like what you do really has impacted my life, and I'm sure all the people that are watching or logging on now, same thing. Uh,
Yeah.
they find truth and healing in your cartoon paintings. You know,
I hear from people every day who are really grateful for the way I communicate through my cartoons. It's I started doing them back in 2006 just as an experiment to see if they would go anywhere, and they just took off. I think somebody is endorsing my next book coming out, saying my pictures are worth 1,000 sermons, and
wow. Yeah,
so I really love that,
yeah,
and and I like that because you look at my cartoon, it takes a split second to see it, and it's done. You can't unsee it. Whereas you could read 1,000-word blog post, you might get bored and stop or scroll on or forget it or
right.
whatever. But with my cartoons, it's like one frame usually, and it's like done. It's over, and you can't unsee it. And I like the immediacy and the power of that. So
Hmm.
the effectiveness of the communication that they deliver. So that's why I've kept it up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like for me, I'm such a visual person that when I look at it, I remember it.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool. It's cool. I love it. So it's, I just, and it's a double whammy for me because I'm having fun and people, well, most people are having fun. There's some people who don't like what I do, and want to fight me on it. But for the most part, I hear really good things from people, and it's very encouraging.
Do you get a lot of people talking your direct messages?
You mean hate mail in my direct messages?
Well, I hope you get good mail in your direct.
Oh no, I do. Yeah, no,
Yeah. Okay.
I get a lot of good, comments actually in the posts, but also people direct message me and um, give me really encouraging comments about how their lives have been changed, or they feel encouraged, or validated, or heard, or seen.
Right.
They feel like they're going crazy. They're not alone. Those are really important feelings when you're taking control of your life, just to get some kind of validation that you're not going nuts, that you're actually growing, you're developing, you're progressing. This is a good thing. This is healthy.
Right.
And it sort of puts a new spin, gives you a different angle. And some people, it's like immediately they're okay. They don't need to go for years of counseling, to deal with whatever. They just immediately feel um, validated, and that's everything.
Yeah, I mean, and I've got to be honest. When I started deconstruction, the thing is the word deconstructing. It's what it felt like, and I wasn't online, Instagram, or anything like that. But obviously, it's taken off because people are able to be vocal, and that's one of the great things about the internet. There are a lot of things that are, but one of the great things are that we're able to connect with people that are going through the same thing we're going through, and
Yeah,
don't feel as alone.
yeah,
And I totally agree. It's like, when I found your page, another pastor that understands,
yeah,
and it was reassuring and comforting
yeah,
uh, to walk into that.
yeah.
How welcoming you are. I mean, you're genuinely kind and loving, and so uh,
Thank you.
it's not like you walk. Oh, this guy hates the church, or this.
Yeah,
You don't get that.
yeah,
All you do is get this guy. You know,
yeah,
and so I think
yeah,
it was incredibly important to me in my growth. Because the first year after I came out, I was angry.
yeah,
I was angry that everybody walked away. I was angry
yeah,
mom doesn't talk to me anymore. I was angry at all those things.
yeah,
Um, and I had to work through that.
yeah,
Then I, found your page, other people that were healing. I was like, okay,
yeah,
take a breath, start to heal. And obviously, I have my own personal therapist that I talk to, just walk. So, I can't stress enough how much I am reaffirming exactly everything you just pictures or okay, I feel better.
right,
There is healing to it, and there's healing in different stories.
right, yeah.
You so
One of your followers, Henny Who, I wanted. She made a comment. I still require years of counseling, as the only thing I was taught to question was my own knowing and judgment. Yeah, I don't want to undermine counseling. That's a very good comment. Um, Validation is half. Knowing you're okay is half the thing. That doesn't mean you shouldn't process everything and come to a deeper understanding of yourself. So I want to thank you for that, Henny Who, for making that comment and helping me clarify that. But yeah, I go for therapy. I always recommend therapy. We've told our own kids to go to therapy for the way we raised them as parents. You know, um, yeah. So
I totally agree with that. I mean, I'm 3 years later, I'm still obviously in it. I've been going to it even when I'm in church. You know,
yeah,
it's a constant process.
yeah.
You know, um,
You know what, Brad? Thanks, Emily. I don't mind you bugging me. You don't actually bug me. You're a friendly bug. The I started talking deconstruction way back in 2006. I actually went back on my blog and I searched for deconstruction, and I started talking about it way back in 2006.
Oh,
Before it was a term used in philosophy to talk about where you question everything, the text, the transmission, everything. And then I sort of saw it as a very convenient and excellent way to describe questioning our beliefs and our conditioning and everything. I sort of turned up the heat on that in 2008, 2009. I started talking a lot about deconstruction then. And really, nobody else was talking about it. Hardly anybody else was talking about it. Now everybody's talking about it. But back then, um, people felt very isolated,
yeah.
very alone. And more people started talking about it, so that now it's even a hashtag. You can go hashtag deconstruction and
Yep, that's true.
deconstruction TikTok, deconstruction Instagram, whatever. And there's people everywhere talking about it. So it's incredibly validating and encouraging to see. It used to be a very isolated process, but now there's all kinds of people to share your journey with. Yeah.
All right. We did have a question here, which is
Sure.
Anna Seven Marie. Question for both of you. Do you still consider yourselves Christian even if Jesus was a savior?
Do you consider yourself Christian even if Jesus wasn't a savior? So the way I answer that is because I do get asked that a lot. I have a lot of answers to that question, actually. But first of all, most of the times when I'm asked that question, are you a Christian? That comes out of an anxiety to know where I stand so that they know how to relate to me. Christians and people of other religions too have a lot of anxiety about they need to make sure that we're on the same page before they feel it's okay to be in communication and in fellowship with this person. So often, are you a Christian comes from a place of fear. I need to know how to peg you so that I know how to talk to you. And because if I say, no, I'm not a believer, I'm an atheist, then they're like, they don't know, a lot of people don't know how to talk to an atheist.
Yep.
And so that's my first answer. The second one is, I say it's in my DNA. It's my family of origin. I've left home, let's say, but that's still my family of origin. Third thing I say is, my home's in Christianity, but I have cottages everywhere. I'm comfortable anywhere. Belief systems are belief systems, and Christianity is one amongst many. One of the most profound things that ever happened to me was in 2009. I had this profound epiphany where I saw that we're all one. We share one reality, but we all have our own understanding, paradigms, worldviews, languages, words to apprehend and articulate that one reality. But there's just one reality. So that, to me, that was the beginning of the end for me in the ministry. And it was a year later when I actually left. So I don't, that's a long way of coming around to saying, a label is for the people on the outside. It's not for the content. The content knows what it is or isn't. It doesn't care. I live on a river that's made up of many streams and many rivers. They all conjoin here and they empty into the ocean here. And that's what I feel we are. We're many streams, many rivers conjoining into one. And so I'm very comfortable with where I am or who I am, even though I don't need a label.
Mm-hmm.
But other people need that label to try to figure out where to put me on the shelf,
Yeah,
There.
I've got
Long answer.
that's great. I've gotten people that, I've done podcasts like I go, where do you fall, Brad? Are you an atheist? Are you agnostic? Are you Christian? What are you exactly? And I looked at him like, listen, I go for that.
Yeah.
I've spent the last, 48 years of my life or whatever have you. I go, I'm not label myself. I'm still a growing process. As you said, 3 years out,
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to do that. She did clarify I have deconstructed. I don't believe Jesus, but I love his teachings.
Yep.
For clarification. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
You know, yeah. So the whole interest in Jesus and the historical Jesus and so on is absolutely fascinating. And there's a lot of discussion whether there was even a Jesus. I, you know, maybe we don't want to go there, but that's a whole other discussion. But for me, the truth that Christian theology conveys, I'm still very interested and passionate about Christian theology. My favorite theologian still is Karl Barth.
Oh, okay.
There's other theologians that I appreciate and read, along with Buddhism, Zen, Krishnamurti, First Nations spirituality. You name it, atheism, science,
Yeah.
quantum physics. When you get into those and philosophy, they all start sounding kind of the same language when you get into mystical theology or philosophy or quantum physics or whatever. They all start sounding like they're trying to explain the same thing. Slightly different words, but for me, that's what's fascinating. Mm-hmm. Hey, Hannah, thank you. Yeah, it's so interesting, Hannah Rosie Apple, that we're going through this traumatic kind of change in our life, and it's like some kind of a weird illness, let's say, and we're very upset. It's a mystery. I can't explain it. We Google it. We can't find anything. So we go to the doctor, and the doctor says, "Oh, you've got this." And suddenly it's like, "Oh, okay, finally, I'm not going crazy. It actually is a thing." And so many of us feel that way spiritually when somebody said, "Oh, you're just deconstructing." It's like, "Oh, okay, fine, that's great. I feel better already." So.
All right, so I am walking downstairs. Let me know if my internet's any better there, because somebody said it was going in and out. So
yeah, it is a lot better already. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Thank you for letting me know that. I appreciate that. I've made my way back downstairs near the internet box. Okay. So,
naked pastor going in right now. Going in what? I don't understand that. I'm curious though.
I know, right?
Naked pastor going in now. Catman Grove. Cool.
So, thank you for letting me know that. Okay. So, let me ask you this. Say someone is just now going through deconstructing.
Right.
What advice would you give them as they're beginning this process of challenging their beliefs?
Buckle up and wear a helmet. Look, this is such a huge thing. The 2,000 plus years of Christianity, for example, we have learned the art of what it takes to keep people in place. And one of the biggest things is fear, and that there's no time. It's like there's hell and Jesus coming back. Or you're going to die. Those are the three choices.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Or heaven, but good luck.
Yeah.
So it's either it comes out you're going to die or Jesus is going to come back. So you've got no time. So you got to figure this out now. If you're deconstructing, you're a mess. You're confused. You need to know. You have to be certain of your faith. You have to be ready to give a reason for the hope that lies within you now. Or else Jesus comes back, you're going to go to hell, or you're going to die in your sleep and you're going to go to hell, or you're going to appear before the throne on the last day, and everybody's going to see a big screen of everything you ever thought. Yeah. All this kind of terrifying stuff. Take that all off the table. If you took fear off the table, people would enter into deconstruction like, all right, I got all the time in the world. I don't need to worry. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's no hell waiting for me. And I can just figure this out, and I've got a lifetime to do it. And I'm going to be happy where I am right now. I'm going to be here right now, peaceful right now, Heaven is here right now. Everything is here right now. Everything. The fullness of time is now.
Right.
And I'm going to just enjoy it. And I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to worry. And because fear's off the table. And then we just start growing. We just let it happen. And we expose ourselves to whatever nutrients we think might be helpful for us in our spiritual progress. But it's all done with curiosity and wonder and hope and courage. And we just don't fear. That's the problem with a lot of people who are deconstructing, is they have this thing that's been planted in their brain by the church that you need to figure this out now because you're confused, and that's not good. So take that away. Confusion is fine. Mystery is wonderful. We're swimming in a universe of mystery. Get used to it. Love it. Fall in love with it. Appreciate it. And enjoy your deconstruction. This is growth. And, I'm 6 foot, 185 pounds. I didn't go to sleep one day, 6 years old, and wake up this way. It's taken me decades to do this.
Right.
So it's the same with our spiritual growth. It just happens. It just grows, and we do it without fear.
I love it. I love it because that made a huge difference for me is when I deconstructed hell. And that was one of the topics I really wrestled with even before leaving the church.
Yeah.
And I went in and looked at the Greek and then looked at the history of it and everything, and came to the conclusion for me that hell doesn't exist. That's
right.
My conclusion personally. And it freed me up because no longer did fear control me or sway me. Then I was like, okay, I can breathe and enjoy the deconstruction process as much as you do. And then I guess for me, nature became so wonderful with it, and everything came to life when fear wasn't reigning over me. With that,
Yeah.
So I told that is wonderful advice. I totally get that.
I remember when I was lying in bed after I quit the ministry. I'd made my pronouncement. I informed people I was quitting, and I was lying in bed. Lisa was at work. She's a nurse. She was working shift work. And I was lying there in bed, and I just felt this cold wave of fear come over me. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong and I'm going to go to hell for this? And that's how crazy things are, where you think you're going to go to a place you don't even believe in. But that's what monsters are like too.
Right.
I still don't like going up basement stairs in the dark. I don't want something reaching out and grabbing me from between the stair, and I still get a little freaked out when I'm in the woods in the middle of the dark night, and it's just something in us, right? And but you just recognize it as that, and eventually it goes away. I can think about the concept of hell and not feel like, oh geez, what if I made a terrible mistake? It's right. A lot of other things come along with that, like if there is a God, would he be so cruel as to make somebody burn alive forever? All these other things come along too. And theologically speaking, hell is a later concept, not a biblical one, and so on and so forth. So that, eventually it just becomes a chatter in the background. Then eventually it becomes an echo, then a whisper, and then it goes away.
Yeah, totally. We had a question, actually, a couple questions. Hey, it's Melissa asked, I'm deep in deconstruction, so maybe I have a warped view of religion. What would you say is the pure purpose of an organized religion?
What is the pure purpose?
Of an organized religion. Yeah, that's what she had asked.
Yeah, I don't have anything against religion. I mean, religion's here to stay. I know there's people who would like to eliminate religion from the earth. I'm not one of them because, first of all, it's imposing some kind of external law on the will of the people. People should be free to decide. Plus, it's just going to be here to stay. The church is here to stay. Just get used to it. We can't banish it from the earth because we all know what happens to the church when you ban the church. It goes underground. It's always survived and it always will. And so I do think religion offers some good things. I call the church my mother, spiritual mother. I wouldn't be where I am now unless I was where I was then. And it helped me in some way. I have no regrets. I do not wish to reject it. I'm not embarrassed by it. And I've done some crazy shit in the Christian church, like with a vineyard and renewal and prophecy and tongues and healing and exorcism, you name it. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And so I've seen some crazy. So I'm not embarrassed by that. That was all a part of my story. You wouldn't understand me now unless you knew that part of my story. So don't go ripping out any earlier chapters that you're embarrassed by or you think are wrong or whatever. It's just part of your story. And so that's where I place religion. It's just a part of our story. Right. And yeah, I suffered abuse there, some terrible things, but also it sort of propelled me, got me on this journey that I'm enjoying and loving right now. And like I said, the church is my spiritual mother, and I'm very grateful for that. So that's, I think, what religion can do. It can nurse you, like literally like a child being nursed at the breast of its mother. It can nurse you to health, to some kind of stability, health, and it could go further, but it refuses to. I think the church would serve so many more people if it would help them through their adolescent stage and rebellion stages and questioning stages, young adult stages, because I think a lot more people would eventually come back around to support a church that helps people through all the stages of growth, rather than saying you can grow up until you start questioning our authority. Sure. And everything we say. Sure. So that's what religion is doing now. So I'm grateful for that. I think it could do better. Sure. Okay, yeah. We have one other question in here. I believe it's Danielle Alacaro. I'm sorry if I totally butchered that. Sometimes it's difficult because we have learned so many things that I ask myself, what is real? So, okay. Yeah. So, what's her name again? Danielle. Danielle? Okay. Yeah. Danielle, you're doing it. You're asking yourself. You're healed. There you go. You're asking yourself. That's the most important thing, because that is actually what deconstruction is. I equal it to spiritual independence. So you're learning how to be independent. Instead of going asking some authority or some guru or some leader or some pastor or some priest or some imam or some whatever, you're asking yourself. Yeah. And that's great. You have another one? I have a little Shih Tzu. And yes, so she's barking at somebody coming home, but it's all good. So they mixed yeah, never mind. Yeah. They mixed, I know, right? They mix the Shih Tzu with the bulldog. You know what they get, right? A bullshit. Oh, bullshit. Yes. Now you're gonna tempt me to get a bulldog just for that purpose. Yeah. I love the little Shih Tzu just because I can call her my little shit, but that's still, that's different. So I have a little Westie. So okay, all right. Yep. Cool. So okay, I know we're reaching about an hour point here, so I didn't want to make this much longer. Are there any questions that you guys, audience, would like to ask David here before we wrap this up? Oh, okay, already. Brittany asked, do you have any tips on parenting while in the midst of deconstruction? I do. I've written posts on this. It's also in my book, Till Doubt Do Us Part. Mm-hmm. I talk a lot about changing in front of your kids. Um, here's what I'm going to give you the most simplest advice. Let them watch you change.
Mm.
Just let them watch you develop and grow and doubt. You know, that's the way we did it with our kids. Was we let them watch us go through our deconstruction. We were open about it. We communicated. Communication heals so many things. Just talk about it. If they say, "Do you believe in God?" Well, I don't know right now. You know, what do you? Let's talk about that. What do you think? You know, why do we go to church? Well, actually, today I really don't know why we go to church. Why would you go to church? Why do you want to go to church? You know, kind of thing. Just talk openly about it. You do not have to be perfect to be a parent. You just need to communicate who you are. Be authentic. Be open. Be vulnerable. Be transparent. And you know what? Your kids will learn that from you. They will learn, hey, it's okay to question. It's okay not to arrive and always be on tap and always know the answer. That I can wonder and ask questions and doubt and everything. And that's totally okay because my parents are okay. And I'm okay if I do the same thing. So that's what I recommend. Just be open about it.
Totally, totally agree with
Yeah.
that. And that's, we've had a lot of clarifying questions with our kids about leaving the church, and our questions
Mm,
not having all the answers. It's as simple as,
right.
for me, I mean, like, we went to put our dog down this morning, and we all grieved together. They got to see us grieve and walk through it.
Yeah.
It's a great, great teaching time. Chrissy asks, what do you do with the teachings of Jesus when they've been so ingrained into you?
What do you do with the what teachings of
Teachings
Jesus?
of Jesus when they've been so ingrained into you.
Okay, so you've got all this bank of ideas and beliefs and thoughts. So what I recommend is don't go through each one and pick and choose and then throw some out, reject some or keep some or whatever. Everything, nothing is wasted. Everything. I call it the compost of our lives. And you know what compost is? It's half good soil and half shit, literally,
Mm-hmm.
and garbage and leftovers and everything. And so that's what our lives are like. Half of it's really good earth, soil, and the other is all the garbage and the bad shit and the crazy stuff and everything. It all gets mixed in, all folded in together, and it makes a beautiful, rich soil out of which you grow. So what do I do with the teachings of Jesus? They're just all there. The Bible is in my mind. I won't ever get rid of it, and I don't plan on it.
Mm-hmm.
Tons of theologies back there in my brain. But I don't worry about what's right or what's wrong because it's the fruit of it that matters. It's like the compost, all comes together. What does it grow? It's growing you. And so all it's the same in my mind. What should I believe? What should not believe? It doesn't matter. Just let it all rest there, and like a Buddhist meditating or a Christian meditating or a Zen meditating or whatever, you just ride above that, float above all those thoughts, and enjoy what comes out of it. Right? Find the peace of mind that's beyond all these ideas, millions of ideas. Find the peace of mind that rides above that, and that's where your peace will be, actually. Not in figuring out what's right and what's wrong, what's correct and what's not, what's unorthodox, what's orthodox, what's righteous and what's not righteous, what's holy and what's unholy, sacred and secular. Don't worry about all that. Ride above all that, and because that'll never get settled.
Hmm.
It'll always be there in the roots. It's the fruits that matter.
Hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, I'll take one more question. It's from Shelly Snow Pordia. I hope I said that right. It's harder when one parent leaves and one stays. Any advice there?
One parent leaves and one stays.
Yes.
So yeah, again, communication. I'm sorry. Maybe this was good for you. I don't know. Maybe it was bad. I don't know if it was good or bad for you. But anyway, you're left with, I'm presuming you're the one who's left with the kids or in the marriage. And again, communication, openness, that's what matters.
Hmm.
and talking about it, talking it through. And we didn't hide anything from our kids. We had to determine how and when to say something, but we didn't hide anything, and we let them watch us struggle and suffer, and also win. We let them watch us fight, but we also let them watch us make up, so that they learn how to do it. How to fight a good fight, and to how to have a good makeup. So just talk with your kids, ask them questions, ask them to ask you questions, invite transparency, and that often I have found that when you open the door to questions, the rest takes care of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you, David. All right. So we've gone a little bit over an hour with this. And I feel like I could talk to you forever and ask you questions forever. And it seems like the audience could do the same. So,
well, we could do it again.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, listen, I can't thank you enough. For anybody out there looking for incredible Christmas gifts or just gifts for people that are deconstructing or anything like that, as you know, David has 8 books that are out. He's got his cartoons. He's got his website. David, why don't you tell us a little bit of how they can find you to find those things? And
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. So nakedpastor.com is my site, www.nakedpastor.com. And all my art is there, my cartoons, and then my books are all on Amazon. And yeah, I'm really good at responding. If you're on Instagram, you want to follow me, or you want to message me, or you want to email me, or whatever, I always answer. I'm really good at that. So reach out to me if you want. I'm here for you.
Yeah, I can vouch for him on that, because I've asked him questions before and he's come right back the same day and answered. And it's amazing considering the volume of questions I'm sure you get. So I really appreciate that as well. You're very
Love it.
So thank you all for joining us today. We couldn't thank you enough. I hope that you've enjoyed this, whether it's live or on the replay. Once again, Dave, thank you. Your cartoons have meant the world to me. So
thank you so much, and thanks everybody. It's been fun.
All right, talk to you later. Have a great day.
See you, man.
All right.
Bye.